Hey team, so if you are struggling with cumulative frequency graphs, this quick video should hopefully help you out. Um, so the first thing that you need to know about cumulative frequency graphs is, well, what's cumulative and what's frequency? Well, frequency is a total, isn't it? And cumulative means kind of as you go along. So it's the total as you go along. So this question here is a past paper question, and basically we've got pretty much everything you could be asked about cumulative frequency. Box plots aren't included within this lesson. Box plots are a little bit different, but pretty closely related. So this frequency table gives information about the ages of 60 teachers. And so you could say there are 18 teachers who are between 40 and 50. Now, if a teacher was exactly 40 years old, they would have to go into this. Now, these are called your classes. Okay, classes are like groups, or they're sometimes called class intervals. So the class interval between 30 and 40, there are 15 teachers in there. If a teacher is exactly 40, they'll be in this class interval because of the less than or equal symbol. And if they are 40 years and 1 day old, then they'll be in this group here. Okay, complete the cumulative frequency table. Well, how many teachers have we seen that are between 20 and 30 years old? Well, that'll be exactly the same as this first row up here. There will be 12 teachers. Next, how many teachers have we seen between 20 and 40 years old? Now, between 20 and 40 years old, you've got these 12 and also these 15. Okay, between 20 and 40 means you've got from 20 to 30 and from 30 to 40. So you can add those up and you'll get 27 teachers in total. Next, between 20 and 50, between 20 all the way to 50. So that'll be these three. So what you can see is that I've got my 27 and I'm now going to add on 18. Well, 27 plus 18 is 45. Next, I need to add on 12, which give me 57. And next, I'll need to add on 3, which will give me 60. And pretty often, these are going to come out with nice numbers, 60s, 100s, 80s, things like that. Okay? Now, to draw the cumulative frequency graph, it works as follows. From 20 to 30, we'll have seen 12 teachers. Now, by the time we get to 30 years old, we have seen 12 teachers. You always plot at the end of the class interval. Always. Okay, that's really important that you do that. So I went from 30, I went up to 12. Okay, from 30, I went up to 12. And be careful just in case, you've got 20 to 40 here and you've got to be a little bit more careful about where your 30 would be. All right, by the time we get to 40, we're between 27 people. So from 40 up to 27, this isn't the most accurate grid. It's not very clear. Up to 50, we've got 45 people that we've seen. So from 50, we've seen up to 45 people. Okay. From up to 60, we've got 57. We've got 57. And then up to 70, you've got 60 there. Now, when you draw on your cumulative frequency graph, you can just join those up. Now, that join up should be curved. Okay. And hopefully will look a little bit better than my one. But you should never join up a cumulative frequency graph with a ruler. All right, it'll look something like that. Okay. Now, what you can see is, you see how there's not much of an increase here. This is quite a shallow gradient. It's only going up. If you imagine you were running up a hill, you'd probably find this bit the most difficult part to run up. Maybe this bit the most difficult part to run up. These bits here, whichever bit's the most difficult part to run up is where the most amount of people were added. Okay. There's not many people been added here. It's pretty easy to run up it. All right, estimate how many teachers were under 25. Now, to estimate how many teachers were under 25, go to 25 years, which is here. Go up to your graph and go across. Obviously, you should use a ruler, but I don't have one. Okay, and I'm going to say that that is 2, 4, 5.5. So I'm going to go with 6. Okay, if you went with 5, you'd be fine. All right, estimate how many teachers were over 55. Now, over 55 years old. Now, 55 years old would be up to there. Okay, obviously I'd need to use a ruler and draw all the way down, but I don't have a ruler option on this. And what you'll find is that there are 52 teachers that are below 55. Okay? There are 52 below. And so what we do is we do 60, which is the total, take away 52, and we find out that there should be 8 above. Okay, and if you think here, that would be 8, wouldn't it? That gap from 52 up to 60 would be 8. Next, estimate the median height of the teachers. Now, if there are 60 teachers, the median is going to be your total over 2, halfway in. Okay, so go from your cumulative frequency. Median's all about frequency, by the way. It's not halfway into your ages. Okay, we'll go across, we'll go downwards, and you'll find that there's the median age is roughly 42, something like that. Okay, it's not easy to read off this grid. 42. Estimate the height of the 20th teacher. Now, the 20th teacher, 20 across and down, you get 35 years old. Estimate the lower and the upper quartile. Now, the lower quartile is 1/4 of the way into your data. Now, if there was 60 people in a row, all stood next to each other, 1/4 of the way in will be your total over 4, which is going to be the 15th person. So go from 15 across and down, and we'll end up with 32. So your lower quartile is going to equal 32, and your upper quartile will be 3/4 of the way into the data. Okay, your upper quartile will be 3/4 of your total, which is going to be the 45th person. Makes sense, doesn't it? If the median was 30th, the lower quartile is 15, the upper quartile should be 45. It seems pretty obvious. Go across from your cumulative frequency, all the way across and down. In actual fact, we find it out perfectly, don't we, in this case, because it was one of the values that was on the table. So the upper quartile would be 50. Okay, interquartile range is your upper quartile take away your lower quartile, which is going to be 50 take away 32, which is equal to 18. And what that does is tells you how closely together your middle of your data is. Now, your data is spread like this. You've got a lowest value, a highest value. You've got 1/4 of the way into your data in cumulative frequency. You might have, say, your median, okay? And then you might have your lower quartile, and you might have your upper quartile. They won't be evenly spaced necessarily. So you'll have your lowest value, your lower quartile, your median, your upper quartile, and your highest value. Your first 25% of data is between the lowest value and the lowest quartile, okay? Which means your lowest quartile will be below anything, in this case, below 32. If you spoke to a teacher and they said, hello, I am 29, which means they're in the lower quartile of your data, okay? Next, between your lower quartile and your median will be next 25%. Your median and your upper quartile will be next 25%. And between your upper quartile and your highest value will be top 25%. The interquartile range is between your lowest value and your lowest quartile and your upper quartile. Okay, if that's quite closely spread, if that's quite a small number, it means your middle 50% of your data is really quite closely packed together, which means they have pretty consistent ages. If you have a high interquartile range, you have some data that's not particularly closely packed together, okay? And that means that you've got quite a large spread of ages. Which is the modal class? The modal class is the most common class. The most common class is from 40 to 50. Okay, so you just write it exactly as it is. The most common one is the one next to the highest frequency, not cumulative frequency, because that'll always be the end one. All right, so it was from 40 to 50. There we go. All right. Coming up on the next screen, this screen here, you might want to have a little look at it. Is another question that's pretty similar. You might want to pause the video and maybe draw the graph and try it out or something like that. Okay, but I'll quickly run through it. So you've got your cumulative frequency. You've got from 0 up to 40. That'll be the next box added on, which is makes it 11. 2 plus 9 is 11. Plus 23 would be 34. Plus 31 would be 65. plus 27 would be 8592, and plus 8 would be 100. From 0 to 20 is, now if that's 20 there, this would be 10, wouldn't it? So it's going to be really low there, like that. Okay, each box represents 2 vertically in this case. Okay, and each box horizontally represents 2 as well. From 0 to 40 would be 11, so something like that. From 0 to 60 would be 34. So I'm going to have to try and guess, really. I'll go there. From 0 to 80 would be 65. 65. From up to 100 would be 92. Maybe there. And up to 120 would be 100. Alright, there's my plots. I draw in my cumulative frequency. Obviously yours should look a lot better than that one, that's not great at all. Okay, but that's done. Estimate how many lorries were travelling under 25 kilometers per hour. So go up from 25, go across. You should really use a ruler for it, but just for the sake of speed, I'm just going to do it pretty quickly. You should put those ruler marks on there though. 55 across. I'm going to go with saying that's about 38. 38 we're travelling under, so you need to do 100 take away 38, because 38 we're travelling under, and so that would be 62. The median speed would be the 50th lorry, so go across to 50th lorry, go down, and I find out it's 74. Estimate the speed of the 20th lorry across from 20 and down. I'm going to say that's about 47, maybe 40, maybe 48. Obviously, you should be putting those ruler marks on there. Those ruler marks are marked. They're really important. I don't see any point in doing it because it'll take ages. The lower quartile, a quarter of the way into the data, go across from 25th down to about 52. The upper quartile from 75 across and down will get to about 86. So the interquartile range will be 86 take away 52, which is going to be 34. And your modal class, your most common class, is this one here. Okay, lorries travelling between 80 and 100. Okay, hopefully you had a chance to try that one ahead, and hopefully it was pretty useful. Thanks very much for watching.